Are you ready for this? This is the end. Final Fantasy VI Speedrun, Kappa %. We are now going to take on Kefka. And if you thought that this speedrun was a joke thus far, you ain't seen nothing yet. Because this is going to combine all of the best of all the glitched runs, just about, and everything. I mean, I'm not going to sneeze my way out of the final battle with Kefka, but otherwise, this entire tower is going to be a joke. And we're not just going to skip a bunch of bosses with glitches. No, we're going to take them all on, and it's still going to be a joke. Because other than the boss fights, we are not going to encounter a single creature in this entire tower. Yeah, I said it. Same as if you're using Sketch Glitch to make your party immune to random battles. I am immune to random battles. So, first thing we're going to do is spread out our 3 powerful casters to 3 different parties. Group 3 needs help. We're going to assign certain characters here. Certain groups. Going to bring Strago and Realm because they're the weakest into this party. We're going to have you join here. And you're going to join your brother. And we're going to leave Setzer and Gao on the airship to take care of it. Setzer, you know, he gets a lot of work in during glitched runs, having to do Joker Doom. We're going to give him a break, and I'm sorry, Gao, you're just never useful. I like you, kid, but there are better characters to use. Okay, let's get ourselves set. Equip all our most powerful espers. You do that for the heck of it. You're doing Shoat, that's fine, I really don't care. You, Nagnok, no, let's do you, Toronto. Relic. Ring, Marvel Shoes. Hero Ring. Marvel Shoes. Magus Rod. Oh, I have a second Magus Rod, huh? Okay, I'll use 2 Magus Rods, that's good. Next party. Hero Ring, Marvel Shoes, Equip. We're good. And finally, we're all equipped. Relic, Rage Ring, we'll give you Sprint Shoes instead, because we need Sprint Shoes on somebody. Gembox Economizer. Okay, we have a spare Gembox and Economizer. I'm actually not sure where it came from. I think that Gembox Economizer came from... I'm grabbing all the items just because. There are a lot of them. I think that one came from... I think that Mog, even though he was never in the party, he auto-unequipped at the end of... at the end of the World of Ruin. World of Balance, beginning of World of Ruin. But either because the cheat codes are... that my hacks that add equipment are always activated, or because... I forgot I wanted to do it the other way instead. Oh well. Either because of that or because of the fact that just that he was, you know, not in the party yet. He got auto-equipped in the... Even though he wasn't in the party, he was never in the party. It seemed to have pulled all of his equipment, including the Gembox and Economizer he had at the end of the World of Ruin. Pulled off an extra Paladin Shield, Aura Lance, Genji Armor, all that stuff. No muffler, really. That's what he actually had, Genji Helmet. And, but he still had it when we recruited him, and I think it's because I've saved the game and reset afterwards, and so the codes didn't recognize, you know, that he'd already had his stuff taken off, and so it gave it to him all over again. Because it does calculate that. Interestingly, it doesn't do that for characters that rejoin, but since it did count as him technically joining for the first time, even though it stole his equipment, it gave it to him again. So if I was to recruit another, even though I left behind the gym box I could have gotten, if I was to teach another character Ultima, I could give him a gym box economizer as well and have him join the fray as uber powerful. Gonna grab a couple of these chests. Mega Elixir's good. Since I'm not getting any encounters, I really don't care about the fact that I get chests that are kind of useless. I should have gotten a bunch of pearl rods. I forgot to buy those. That's going to make this go a little bit slower, but not too terribly bad. Fire only heals us, because we're awesome. Good old Aura Bolt. 6,000 damage. Did I really do 6,000 damage with an Aura Bolt? Maybe it's holy damage and he's weak to holy? That might be. Even though he looks like he's undead like a lot of others, he actually is not vulnerable to Phoenix Down or Revivify. Thank goodness. You know, kind of think. I mean, it'd be nice if he was, but it also, you've already got through so many bosses like that. This is an optional boss. You can skip him if you aren't interested in killing the 8 dragons, but we're on 100%, so we need Crusader, which is otherwise worthless, unless you really want to try and learn Meteor right before the end game. Because you haven't learned it yet. You didn't do it when you had the chance with Odin. Yeah, whatever. 1 dragon left. The previous boss, Inferno, is an interesting boss. He doesn't really seem to have a place. He's just a boss you fight. And you can actually skip him with certain tricks. I actually should do Group B first because they can they unlock the first thing for somebody else. Minerva. Minerva's interesting armor. It's really good if you Paper Girl, Attack Star, Thrown Weapon for Shadow. Atma here is an optional boss, but I'm going to fight him because everything is so easy. Because you never see him fought in a normal thing. He's like Atma Weapon Part 2. Atma, of course, probably should be Ultima Weapon. An extra Aura Lance, I'll throw it, why not? I don't care if I mimic throwing an Aura Lance or if I mimic using Ultima. Both are good. I was basically going to throw away everything I've got. They all do nice damage. Shadow, if you're doing 100% glitchless normally, Shadow's one of the better characters to have. You get him near the very start and get him some grinding levels up because his throw does a lot of damage since it ignores defense. Sabin again with Bum Rush. Bum Rush is a non-elemental magic attack that ignores magic defense, so it's very valuable to get as well. As you can see, Atma Weapon has a lot of hit points, so he's actually kind of dangerous in a normal run, which is why you'll almost always see him skipped. Ooh, Quake. That'd be nasty. It's gonna be nasty to Cyan, in fact. Could kill him. Just barely. That's hilarious. And that throw kills him off. Again, the Paladin Shield is very powerful since it pretty much nullifies all elements. It's very absurd. And again, it's the reason why I usually can't kill off my party if I want or need to. Do I have life? Tell me I have life. I do. And Cure 2. No Cure 1, but that's game. Save point I'm not going to use, though. No going back for him. You can get a chest over there. I can't remember what's in it. I don't like it much. It's kind of weird the things I am grabbing, the things I'm not, I know. Force armor. Again, all these force armors and stuff are very valuable if you're running normally, since you can use it to up your magic evasion so much that you avoid a lot of attacks. Even with his relatively low attack power, Kyan's doing 5,600 damage with those 8 attacks. Or about 5,000 damage roughly, which isn't too bad. Nothing compared to Ultima, of course, but there are a lot of things in this game that can really make you powerful. Gold Dragon doesn't have many hit points, so these 2 Ultimas might finish him off. Kind of disappointing. Yeah, you survived that one. That was good. I could give the other gem box economizer to Gogo, although then I couldn't use the Moogle charm. Dragon's Heel broken. Now we get Crusader. Where's the room I was supposed to go into to unlock? I didn't get that. I missed something big time. I'm messing up again. I saved before so I could go back if I really wanted. I'm pretty certain that it was in his lane of things. Can't get back up there, can I? I might reset this then. Well, we'll see what happens if I remembered it or not or missed it somehow. Ah, it's in here. Jeez, I can't believe I forgot that. Ribbon's almost useless in this kind of speedrun. I really like the ribbon normally since it makes immune to status effects when you're having to deal with that. There are certain instances where it's useful, but... Okay, one last major MS choke for everybody. That should be the last one, though. It's really hard to mess up from here. Coronet, another crown that isn't really worth much. One of the other things that I didn't bother getting because I kind of don't get much of a chance to show it off, but another rare item you can only get from the Coliseum is Cat Hood. Cat Hood is interesting because it's a helm that can only be worn by Realm, and a Realm helm. It doubles the money you pick up. The description says it picks up all available GP, but what it really does is it just makes you... it doubles the money that you pick up. So if you bother to look through the stuff to get that and get it, it's kind of an interesting item. It's a really good helm too, not as good as a Genji helmet, but still a pretty darn good helm for her, and you know, that double gold thing helps if you're trying to farm up a lot of money for pearl rods or what have you. Trying to figure out which way I want to go. I'll go this way, as usual. First I have to push this off. Whoops. Slight flips here, nothing big. Kind of funky the way this setup works. Hooah! Pushing 4-ton weights on the switches. Make them click. Doesn't seem to be a whole lot of rhyme or reason to it or any kind of explanation, it just works. Whatever. Now this, now there's no going back. Ooh, Guardian. We finally get to kill the Guardian. Very powerful weapon normally. A bunch of ultimas will put it in its place though. I never tried to fight the Guardian long enough to figure out how its programs and everything work. It's just something I generally try to kill off as soon as possible. This should finish it. This will finish it. It has some of the most hit points in the game. Now you could in glitchless, you could use a party switching trick to climb that ramp, so that you don't have to fight Poltergeist at all. Stop on Yeti. He couldn't possibly have done anything better. He himself is actually weak to stop, so in a glitchless speed run, you'd want to try and use that on him. Because, of course, in non-glitchless, you skip him entirely. And then that would make him... I'm not sure if he's weak to fire or not. I'm just trying out a few things. This might heal him. Yep. Too bad. I remembered it in the last boss moment. That's what I get for showing off. I can remember another blitz, see? Back when I actually had a controller I could use on the Nintendo and it worked well, I loved Fire Dance. It was one of my favorite blitzes. I used Sabin a whole lot more then, because I could fairly reliably get them all off, even Bum Rush. I could probably get off Bum Rush with the trick that Poexel taught me, but... I could also use rods to do a lot more damage. I'm going to do that with the next group, though. They're really going to rely on rods since they only have a couple of casters. I should have, as I say, I should have actually bought a bunch of other magic rods, but oh well. Do this right, this is the only fight that this group gets into, so that's why they're the weakest party members here. Let's see. Seven, 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 seven! Lucky sevens! I'm not really scared of whatever he nullifies, because he can't nullify anything. I have so many different elements, not to mention Ultima. You use Thunder Shield and it casts Thunder 3. Ooh, Ice heals him. Make note. Force Field for... Fire Element, okay. Oh, whatever. I can use Thunders and Ultimas. And that's Doom. There's more hit points than anyone in the game, especially when you cast Ice on him to heal him. Again, you know, I'm not really used to running it in this particular way, but... Oh, I got Force Field for Strago because of that. That's hilarious. Haha. Okay, now the final one, Goddess. Over 10,000 damage there, that's pretty good. Protect me! I've not seen that do anything. I haven't gone far enough that it actually would. I am not very scared by that. And this should be a finish on his first or second casting. That's the really interesting thing of his Mimic, is that he mimics the action perfectly. So if you use X Magic, he uses the 2 spells of X Magic as well. I don't know if it's actually affected by X Fight, though. I haven't really looked that closely. Excalibur, sadly, is not as powerful a sword as Illumina is. And since it's in the very last fight in the game, the odds of using it are pretty low. Defeat the statues and magical power will not disappear. If we destroyed the statues, who are the goddesses, the source of magic, it would make magic disappear, but it hasn't, and we figure out that that's because Kefka's already drained the statues. How horrible. No need to alter equipment or anything. I have everything I need, especially on my primary characters, so here we are. Final battle hype! And now our parties assemble in order. And then we're suddenly going to start switching our format to the order. Doesn't matter who we have as leader. The person in order in each party is the one who steps forward and forms it. So you can sort of manipulate who has actions here. Terra pretty much will always be it because she's number 1. Locke will, unless he's in the party with Terra. And then Cyan and Shadow will, unless they're in the party with one of those two, which they are, of course. Then Edgar, Sabin, etc. in line. So the farthest down the line you could have would actually be possibly Mog. It's hard to say because Terra's always going to go. You can exclude 2 people. Well, there's also, but you could also do others as well. Setzer actually is probably it. Although you could manipulate to be either Gogo or Yumaro, I guess, if you really wanted to. Put one of them alone in a party, although the odds of them being able to beat some of these enemies... Gogo could, if you use Joker Doom. Yumaro, I don't think could unless you were level 99, maybe? I don't think you could beat any of the gods or goddesses. And the only one you can skip, Poltergeist, you have to go through Guardian before that. So, bare minimum, they all have to fight a super powerful boss, and odds of Yumaro doing it alone is pretty low. Otherwise, we're at the end here, so I really don't have much more to say. If you've been watching everything this long, seen my flubs and my cool things, and mostly just flubs and bad stuff, but if you've stuck with it this long, you know how it's going, you know how this final battle is going to go too. You can only guess, I'm sure, how I'm going to do all this. I already showed off the ending recently for what happens if you don't have everyone in your party. Now we're just going to have everyone in the party. Equipped with some pretty maximum level stuff. Just awesome stuff. Okay. We're going to take Tina, Poexel, we're going to take Sentia, we're going to take GF Swim, and then we're going to take Sid, and that's actually going to be it. If I lose somebody, I can replace with Sid because he can do Ultimas as well. That's what I'm going to mostly rely on. I doubt I'm going to lose anybody, though, because I'm going to make sure, first of all, that I'm properly life 3'd up. I have had to play this battle a little bit more strategically. You watch my very first video, you'll see some of that. I'm higher level than this, so I'm still really powerful and stuff, but because I don't have Ultima, I have to rely on a whole bunch of other abilities. And so you learn some things doing it. If you kill the head last, he responds with Quake, which is very bad. You want to kill the... Generally, on pretty much all the stages, you want to kill the leftmost enemy first, including in this one. Well, it's technically his right arm, but it's on the left side because of the way we're facing him. That would be the arm you'd want to wipe out first. You can do it with instant kill abilities, like the Air Anchor or the Doom spell. He's not immune to instant death, that portion of it. So, okay, here we go, Quake. We've wiped him out. But Quake does nothing to us because we're wearing Paladin shields. Shockwave as well, but we block that. So this stage was nothing. Next stage is a little bit trickier, but still... in speedruns, you can actually... The far left is the one you either want to kill first or silence it up and then it can't do anything, although it will do a final hit, and then you kill the other parts. Once again, the middle is weak to Doom, I believe. One of the middle parts, the left of the middle. Since they have no names or anything, or even really distinguishing characteristics, it's really hard to do much. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and first of all get life 3 on these other two. Then we're going to do some Ultimas. Notice how the wake trick, because I'm in the menu there, it froze for a second, near Terra's bar, and then when I went off, it filled it up. This is using the wake trick to maximize your ability to do stuff while keeping the enemy low. Once again, harkening back to the beginning, I've had it set on battle speed 6 this entire time because it affects enemies, but not me. 10 hits is one of the final abilities. We'll see how many I block. I'm actually surprised I didn't block 2. Well, Gogo doesn't have as good evasion, and they're mostly attacking him, so I guess that's not too big of a surprise. There we go. Might do a cure 2 here. Quarter. Dispel. Oh, that's actually going to dispel life 3. Bit troublesome. This will probably finish. Another life 3 gone. Luckily it just hit her again. Not a big deal though. Again, even if I lose a character because they happen to kill me after I have life 3, I have Sid waiting to step in and use his Ultimas. Having too many characters in the list can actually hurt because it only switches out characters at a screen transition. And, you know, it doesn't give you the chance to revive them at that point. Ha 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 ha. It did fire damage, so it actually healed us up. I'll take that. Let's get some life 3s back up before we do anything, because calmness is very likely to hit. Using the wait trick at this point means that a minimal amount of time is lost. My characters are all queued, my characters are all ready to go immediately, and he isn't gaining any more time. With battle speed 6, that makes a huge difference since it takes them so long. Train, which probably is supposed to be something like a triple attack or something. Oh, it causes Mute, though, that's right. Possibly mute and blind. We'll have to see if that affected anyone. Could affect me. Remedy is just as good as anything. Meteor. Meteo is a non-elemental attack, so it's bad, even though it looks like it should be fire. Again. 1337 elite damage. Well, he mimicked Cure 3 instead of Ultima, but oh well. It means he'll restore himself. This should be just about it. There's Calmness. Blocked! Haha! Which means I don't need to waste a life 3. So this is GG now. Kefka doesn't have anything really scary on his final form, that not to this party. Dancing Mad Hype. And like pretty much all your Final Fantasy villains, Kefka really does look like a god now. Okay, a god in need of a comb and a makeover. But still,
Life, dreams, hope. Where'd they come from? And where are they headed? These things I am going to destroy!
and there it is once more time, that epic laugh. Okay. No whatever's here. Let me throw the controller down and watch the ending. I'll have to throw a little bit of text for a bit. But now that I've got my commands entered, this is GG. Wow. Hooray for Life 3, though. Okay, I've never seen that before. I literally have never seen him cast Ultima before. That's never happened before. That's actually pretty awesome. It's a good thing I Life 3. That should be it. Yep. Wow. You guys got to see something awesome, actually. Kefka using Ultima on me. Good thing I prepped with Life 3. Ah, hilarious. Very weak Ultima. Magimasters did more, but it was enough to kill me. Ah, that's funny. Just too funny. So, well, what about that? I'm going to go ahead and let the ending play out, just because that's what you do at speedruns, so I can talk a little bit more about it. In case you just kind of popped into the ending or something, this is a glitchless 100% speedrun, segmented. I'd like to do single segment, but it's kind of hard to talk for 8 hours straight, plus not to mention the much bigger video size and everything else is a little bit difficult to deal with. And so I decided to segment it so I could just have pieces, and for the most part it worked well. It allowed me to recover from some stupid things I did. I made a lot more mistakes than I have the last couple of times. The thing that makes this different than normal speedruns, though, is because I'm cheating badly, to be honest. This is Kappa % because it's a joke. I started my characters with ultimate starting equipment and super high stats, so the entire game there was very little danger of dying until, like, right at the end there. And everything went pretty super easily. So done correctly by a real speedrunner, this kind of thing, you could probably shave off an hour, hour and a half off of glitchless. And even using just my basic strats, optimizing, cutting a few more things out and stuff, you could save a lot more time than that, likely. So it's kind of, it has that advantage to it. But again, this isn't competitive. I'm not trying to say, you know, that this, I can go faster than that because of this. No, I know that it's cheap. But I wanted to show some things off, like the Ultima spell that you normally don't see in a normal speedrun, especially from Kefka. Things like the Illumina, the power of the Paladin shield, which when I started this I didn't even remember how powerful it was compared to normal, just because of all the elements it absorbs. And, you know, other pieces of equipment and stuff. Things like the Marvel shoes that are really awesome. And, of course, the power of Moogle Charm, which anybody who's played this game knows, but when you can equip Moogle Charm on multiple parties and not get any random encounters, it makes the ending so much more palatable. This was done in honor of, and even though they might not want to accept it, in honor of speedrunners I've watched, such as Essentia, Poexel, Bick, who've run the Final Fantasy 3 runs, 6 runs that I've watched. Some of the others too that I've seen at these RPG limit breaks and stuff. Prosentia is always a big help to them. Shout out to Mr. MV and the French stream. Bonjour à mes amis de la France. Je vous aime, mes amis français. I do speak French fairly well. I lived in France for a couple of years back in the day. But Mr. MV did some awesome interpretations of the opera and the Maduin Madonna scene that inspired me, quite obviously, if you watch both those. Again, other speedrunners too. There's too many to name in the community, but, you know, Germans such as El Magus and Voltus. I've been watching all of the speedruns of these guys in RPG Limit Break. People like Jair and, you know, just too many to remember and name them all. And it's really exciting to have the opportunity up ahead here to go down to RPG Limit Break and see them in person, possibly hang out, watch them live. You know, even if I'm going to be a nobody there in the midst of the thing, I'm going to be a pretty happy fan. But I had fun running this. I have plans in the future to do more stuff, especially with these games. My first plan is to, I'm going to fiddle around with a couple of other readily available game streaming device programs. A couple that I picked up, see if I can get a few less watermarks and stuff in them, get them better recognized, and possibly get a few other edits in them to make them look better. But then I'm going to do this run again, but on any %, so it'll go quicker, run shorter. See if a few things I cut out will make a difference. And then I'm going to, hopefully I won't get hit by Ultima by Kefka again. That would be very scary. And, but we'll see how that goes. I'll need to remember to safety save. After I'm done with that, I'm going to start working possibly on doing a little bit of, working on some genuine speedrunning, both of this game, glitchless, because quite honestly, trying to use the glitches in this game kind of terrifies me. Like the Joker Doom and stuff, I'm not sure I really want to work that hard at trying to get those glitches to work. Sketch glitch is out of the question. I don't have an old enough cartridge of Final Fantasy 3 to make that happen. So that's another question, but I can do that one. I'm also thinking about doing Final Fantasy IV. I can do that one with glitches. I've already practiced with some of those glitches. I've even initiated the 64 floor glitch once for fun. I didn't actually go in to try and win the game with it. I just activated it to see if it would work, and it did. It was a pretty fun time. But all the other glitches I've been practicing and I can work out, so it's just a matter of, trying to get the routing down. I might even try to work on getting random number generation seeds for that working and get it done. After that, eventually, depending on how things go in the future in RPG Limit Drake and stuff, I might even move on to getting a Twitch stream up if, not that anybody's actually watching me, but if I was to get some followers, I might hook up a Twitch stream and do some live casting of some of my running. I might also get my hands on an Elgato capture device or similar piece of hardware so I could start capturing from multiple sources. Start doing some other speedruns. Probably developing my own, because I haven't seen anything for Grow Lancer yet. I think that Grow Lancer 2 would be a pretty quick and interesting speedrun. Wouldn't be too hard to map out. Xenosaga 2 is a game that I never finished, but I rather enjoyed. Well, I enjoyed the first Xenosaga immensely, and I played the heck out of it, and I spent a lot of time at it, but Xenosaga 2 is like 90% side quests. They're super painful to grind, and as I mentioned before, I'm a completionist. I like to do everything, but it's just too painful to do it, and also the battle system is way too simple for me compared to Xenosaga 1, not nearly as enjoyable, so I much prefer to... I just never got around to finishing Xenosaga 2. But, actually, as I've thought about it, as a speedrun, it would be pretty fun. Because you can actually skip the lengthy cutscenes, so that actually makes it go quick, and you can skip all the side quests and stuff. You don't need to worry about equipment or anything, you just gain levels, and because of the way the battles work, they're auto-win by doing the right setup. I can do that, it's the super simplified battles would work really well in the speedrun, so that'd be a fun one to do. My sister, who have I recently gotten hooked to watching speedruns, has suggested that I might even look at doing a speedrun of Soul Calibur 3's Chronicles of the Sword game. I actually really enjoyed the Soul Calibur series, and Soul Calibur 3 was one of my very favorites because it first gave us the opportunity to make custom characters. And more than that, it gave an opportunity to use custom characters. The ones in 4 and 5, even though they give you better characters to customize, they don't actually do very much. They don't have much of a storyline attached or anything, but the bonus game of Chronicles of the Sword in Soul Calibur 3, Soul Calibur 3 had some flaws, but Chronicles of the Sword was pretty neat. It's a tactical RPG kind of game, and your characters gain levels and stuff, but you still settle most of it in the actual fighting arena of Soul Calibur 3. And I've played that a lot. I've poured many hours into that with either of my sisters watching and on my own and stuff, and so it would be I think that'd be a fun one to map out a speedrun for. So if I can get my PS2 hooked up to a game capture device, those are some future projects I'm looking at. Not sure I could really do Secret of Mana or Chrono Trigger, two other games I really love. Just once again, their glitches are a little bit intimidating for me to try to work out, and there isn't really much of a glitch list for either of those. You save way too much time running glitched on them to make it worthwhile. Of course, you save a lot of time glitching through Final Fantasy VI as well, but for some reason it's popular glitchless. So, I don't know. If you've been enjoying seeing my run so far, I'll probably be looking at a few more of those. There are some other games I've thought about running here. I might eventually do some Dota things, but even though Dota is another fun game for me to watch, it's not a fun game for me to play. If I do any recording of Dota videos, I'll make note of that as well. I'll talk more about that. I don't think there is anything I left out in any of my explanations here, though. I think it was pretty, by the end, self-explanatory. I went off about a lot of stuff you've heard normally if you do speedruns. I just probably think I like the sound of my own voice. I don't really, but I do like talking about things that I find interesting or that I have knowledge of, and that's one of the biggest things for me, and it's why I enjoy watching speedruns at marathons so much, because they give such big explanations, good explanations of how everything works, and I find that fascinating. I just like general useless stupid knowledge, and I like to share general useless stupid knowledge. So if you enjoy that too, then keep watching my videos. I'll provide lots of it. If you don't enjoy that, then you're probably not watching this anyway. You couldn't have made it this far. But for all those who have made it this far, thank you very much for watching all these videos through all my mess ups and MS chokes and all the rest, and look forward to more in the future. If you're interested in other things by me as well, I'm a writer of sorts, largely of fan fiction, and I can go into that quite a lot, but I'm not going to. But largely, the only major writing project I've ever completed. I am horrible at starting a project and getting into it and then dropping it and never finishing it. The only project I finished is something that is actually my namesake, MSKain. Kain, of course, comes from Final Fantasy IV, but I developed other characters for it, and I actually became attracted to the manga of Maho Sensei Negima, even though I don't like the etchiness of it, and I thought it was silly in a lot of ways, but there was something in its soul that I really enjoyed, and so I wrote my own thing that had a non-10-year-old kid, a kid the age of the girls, so it was more interesting to me that way. Added in a bunch of other females from other anime that I find interesting, and rewrote the story to give just, a new look at it. And that, I only intended to write it for myself and for my close friends and family, but my wonderful sister decided that that it ought to be shared with the world, and so she has started to and has been intermittently posting it on fanfiction.net. So if you look for Maho Sensei Kain, you can find that story if you really want to read and get into my very dark, strange mind. Not so much dark, I guess, but just my very different mind. You'll see a lot of it, especially if you read the author's notes, because at the end of every chapter I do author's notes. As I say, I like talking about things, and because Maho Sensei Kain was such a cerebral exercise for me, carefully planning out what characters to use and how to fit things in the story and how to rewrite the story and add other stories in, because I ended up making it a melange of many anime. I talk a lot about that and where origins are, in case you may not be familiar with it, and divide the things that are mine from the things that it blatantly stole from places. This is the kind of guy I am. So if you're really crazy, you can check that out. I had some fun with it. I made it 20 acts, each act about 50,000 to 100,000 words, so there's a lot of it there. It's a very long story, but I had a lot of fun with it. It's not completely posted yet. As I say, my sister's been adding parts intermittently, but there's that. So this is the end of Final Fantasy VI, and things are getting happy. We destroyed Kefka, and since Kefka drained all the mana from the statues, he became the source of magic. And since we killed him, magic is going away, and that means that all the magicite disappeared. Katarine has her baby. Insta-baby one more time! Do it right, Katarine. Whatever that means. Gotta hang in there. And as Terra was faltering, Setzer raced to catch her. For a while longer. A little longer. Where's Tina? Tina! Thank you, Jinx. Did I say it before? This is the world's fastest ship. Kind of sad that magic goes away and all the espers are lost, though. It's probably better for the world, but a pretty good ending overall. The Final Fantasies generally do. They resolve a decent enough amount of things. As always, I liked Final Fantasy IV's really well. Final Fantasy V's was really disappointing, especially after the slog. Final Fantasy V isn't a game you play for the story. And I mean, again, all the Super Nintendo games kind of have, flaws and holes in their story, but 5 drove me nuts. it was really fun to grind because of the job class system, but the story just drove me nuts. I never played 8 because it was too far of a diversion from the Final Fantasy gameplay, but it's kind of the opposite. Its gameplay was just totally distracting me, but I've heard nothing but rave reviews about its story. And the little bit I've seen of it and sort of followed it watching speedruns and stuff, it did seem to be a pretty good one. But all the Final Fantasies are really great. I really love these games and the way the Japanese weave their stories together. My next goal to see speedrun by somebody else, though, I really want somebody to do a Bahamut Lagoon speedrun. That would be another hard speedrun. That's another game that I started but never finished. It's a game like Seigen Densetsu 3 or Superman 2. It never came to the US. A tactical RPG, kind of a precursor to Tactics, like we have whole units that you're moving around, armies of units and simplified Final Fantasy combat. But it was another one where the story just got to me when the main lead female decided that she didn't want the hero but the evil Empire's lieutenant. I just couldn't move on past that point. Plus, I'd actually grinded out the game to the point where it became impossible to play because of the weird way the abilities worked. It was very broken. Because you have dragons associated with each of your units, and as you feed dragons items, they will gain stats. And so if you max out all their stats, some of their stats are based on elemental, but you max them all out, they turn into non-elemental, and then you gain all non-elemental attacks on your characters, which would normally be a good thing, but it actually gives you like a 75% miss chance on all your abilities, and so the game becomes unplayable. It was really stupid design, and so that combined with the hard story made it impossible to grind. Sad story. But I'd like to see somebody have some fun with that and actually win it. That'd be good to watch. Gonna have some interesting donations and interesting jokes. I'm gonna have a pun joke for Grosentia, and as a preview, I'm gonna donate to Name Gogo, Girl from Secret of Mana, GFSOM, just like I did in my game. So I think that that'll get a chuckle out of some of them. Especially since Secret of Mana isn't being run this year at RPG Limit Break. Secret of Mana 2 is. I'm so looking forward to that. But since the first one isn't being run, we need to have a little bit of it there, so it's going to be represented by Gogo. I've decided this. Unless somebody decides to one-up me. Maybe the Yeti will go for Gogo this time. Or maybe they won't get Gogo. I think they should. He's just such a easy-to-get character and so usefully powerful. Kind of weird. As I say, he's one of the caster types, so his stats are low, his equipment is really horrible, but because of the fact that he can use any ability and constantly use things that have already been used, he can, worked right, he can be very, very broken. Just about at the end here. You fly across the landscape. Suddenly it looks a lot more green than it did before. Interestingly, the only green... Well, some of the towns still are the same color. Some of them are affected a lot more than others. But the place that looks the most green in the World of Ruin, I think, is Mount Zozo. With the green grass and moss and stuff growing on the mountains. It looks just like Mount Colts, and it looks beautiful. As I say, that's one of my favorite backgrounds in this game. It's just so well, beautifully done. What would an FF6 sequel try to do with the story? This is one that I'd love to see what happens to these characters afterwards, but sadly, oh, here's the classic Final Fantasy theme. Good old classic Final Fantasy. But you almost sort of think that it's really hard to do anything more since Magic's gone and all that. You know, there's the Insta Baby! But you would think that with Magic gone, there isn't much they could have in the way of adventures. I'm not sure we'd want to have more drama. But, you know, I love the characters so much. I think they did a really excellent job of making them live in this game and doing a whole lot with them. There's a lot in Final Fantasy VI that makes me think, even though Final Fantasy IV is my favorite for nostalgia, I love Final Fantasy VI, and I think it's about the best. Because of the way it works, it's brilliant. Especially, you know, from combat and everything else. Because Final Fantasy VII, the big problem with it that I found was that your characters were generic. Materia was the only thing that mattered. You had limit breaks, and they were kind of cool and kind of different, but most part, you just made whatever character you wanted the caster, whatever character you wanted the fighter, you know, whatever character you wanted the healer. And you can do the same thing here, but you really have to work at it. I mean, you have to give them the espers and make them learn all the magic they want, and otherwise they all have their unique tricks. So you can super level up and get a lot of magic points and equip a lot of espers to increase your stats and be super powerful, or you can do, you know, all sorts of speedrunning things, and you can rely on each character's individual abilities, and they have a wide amount of them. There are a few failings. Scout could have been made a lot better, for instance. I really think he's a neat character, but he's just so unreliable and useless that you just can't, you know, you never see him used, and that's why. 1 or 2 battles, and that's it. Normally in a Kefka speedrun, because he can do reliable damage. That's it. And, but the other thing about it is that, besides that, oh, now I can't remember what I was going to say. But it doesn't matter. Thing's just about over now. Terra's going to take her hairband, her ribbon out, and let her hair blow in the breeze, and we get this nice image to finish the game and a few more birds. So I hope you enjoyed Final Fantasy VI. I always enjoy Final Fantasy VI, which is why I can do crazy things like this with it. And so, thank you all once again for sticking with me on this insane project and through everything else, and hope to see you again on the next run. Okay, I guess we had a little bit more. But I'm done. Here we go. This is it. Final fly off to the end. The end. Thank you all. Adieu.